Well, they'll be calling you a radical. So back to the attempted coup of January 6, 2021. This is important. Nobody knows as much as this, as far as this dynamic as I do. So Sands, Stephen, has testified that they were turned down 6 times for requests for the National Guard. Now, stay with me. The Million Mass March in 2013 and in 2014, and I've been involved in street activism and so organizing, doing, it's important I put this up on this day because this is the anniversary of the death of Aaron Swartz, which really, the Post-Ignorance Project, I remember when people used to laugh at us for protesting. It says, oh, protesting, activism, that's old-fashioned, That was just 10 years ago people used to say that to me. Nobody protested 10 years ago. There was no activism in the street. We were. Now stay with me. He was the man. I talked to him right in front of the White House the morning of, remember the 5th of November 2013. He was the guy. So there was no National Guard. Our crowd was very similar to this crowd as far as numbers, intensity. Now, what we were protesting was real stuff, not made up, manufactured. Their AstroTurf versus ours was grassroots. I'm the organizer, me and a few others. There were no National Guard. Capitol Police, White House Police, all the police agencies, they worked in symphony. And our movement, I remember going back to the room in 2014 and thinking, holy fuck, that was the most intense shit I ever saw. Whew, these fucking people wound up. The crowd very similar in 2013. There was no National Guard. When we got to the Capitol, they were in rows. And they had full riot gear on. They had horses at the White House. They had horses over there. They had little tanks. They had security mingling through the crowds in plain clothes. They had, I talked to him himself. I remember thinking to myself, I remember telling others, and I'm like, Michael Pendleton, who's passed away this year, I remember sitting with Michael Pendleton, when RT was interviewing us, and I said, this could get real out of hand out of fucking quick. This fucking crowd, because Wiki Poets crowd was there, and they're anarchists, and fighting among the two crowds, and like I said, we were grassroots fighting for the right things. Fukushima, Aaron Swartz, police brutality, jail the killer Cubs. Danielle Willard started that long before 3 women hashtag. Gonna take credit for that. What a crock of shit. So, this is important. I remember talking after to people there. It blew my mind how well orchestrated the fucking police forces were. How the fuck did they keep this in check? They had streets blocked off on both sides. They had in front of us, behind. And we were like trying to herd a fucking cats. Trying to herd fucking a whole fucking many thousands of fucking bobcats, fucking cougars, and wildcats. Literally here at Weber State University, wildcats. It was fucking nuts. I remember telling myself, I cannot believe how well orchestrated this police force was. There were people that tried to break through the fucking barrier. They were out on the perimeter. They never got through. Arrests were made. So here's my point. Sands testified 6 times they were denied National Guard. They don't need National Guard. He was always polite to me. He was always all ears. But what happened, I could tell you. This is an opinion. I can tell you what happened. I'm watching the live feed on this. I'm like, fuck, this is just like the Million Mass March. But, this was Trump winding them up. When they got to the Capitol, there was no resistance. So what happened? 1,400 Capitol Police. That was enough to handle this easily. Inside the rank and files, they descended. It's that simple. Inside the rank and files, they're like, same thing I've said for years. Until police forces clean up their fucking act inside their own police forces, you're never going to get better. There's the problem. Every fucking thing I've been to, and I've been to some radical shit. I remember being at the University of Utah this year and fucking that intensity. Whoa. The only violence I saw was created by cops and not per se heads of police forces or per se, by individuals in. They've allowed these police forces to be infiltrated with, and they don't care. There's your problem. What happened on the 6th? This will go down as one of the greatest attempts to overthrow a government in world history. This makes fucking the Caesar and the boys look like church mice. It was insurrection inside the police force. I know Sands personally, and I will testify, right hand on the Bible, left. I still haven't figured that one out. We were at the name that mountain, the Mariner Eccles Federal Reserve. You should see the security there. We were all over the fucking city, everywhere. Always ready for us. I mean, streets blocked up. We fucking shut down the whole fucking city. They were there. They were there. Undercover cop. I mean, I'll never forget guys in baseball camp. Kevin Lynch. How's it going, man? Good. You guys here for the rally and the marches the day before? No. We're watching all your sites. Where are you headed next? Don't know. What's your plans? Don't know. This is a leaderless movement. They were always ready. The streets blocked out. In front of us, behind us, above us with helicopters. Very similar sized fucking crowd that moved up Pennsylvania was ours. Very similar. Intensity, fuck, ours was even more intense than this. And by the way, theirs is fucking AstroTurf, made up bullshit. Ours was, we were fighting for the right things. The cover up of Fukushima. The murder of the truth teller Aaron Swartz. The fucking cop shooting a girl in the face. This is long before Black Lives Matter. They stole it from us, by the way. You know, then we went to Baltimore, then Ferguson, all this dirty work. I'll testify. I will testify. There was no National Guard. They didn't have to call National Guard, and we were more intense than these fuckers ever dreamed to be. We couldn't get through. You know, and I preached each individual is responsible for their own actions. Be yourself, be loud, but you are responsible for your own actions. Not as a unit. It was a leaderless movement. I talked to Santa. I remember talking, well, I have leukemia. Yeah, I know. We're watching your sites. You know, I'm fighting for the people, and, you know, there was some very emotional times. I can't remember if it was him himself or his partner said, my sister just passed away of leukemia in 2012. She lives in San Francisco. He knew all about Fukushima. And I will come to his defense. He was always so extremely polite to me, and he was the man. He ran the show. Everybody fucking knew it. You know, because they were organizing multiple police forces, not National Guard. So the difference is, what's the difference? We're fighting for real shit. They're fighting for fucking manufactured fucking fashion. What a disgrace to fact. I mean, what an insult to Mussolini. Fuck, Trump ain't no Mussolini. He wishes. He's fucking a Mussolini wannabe. Hitler fucking wannabe. He wishes. Fuck. So, the bullshit that they had to call in the National Guard is just that of fucking bullshit. I will testify. Our crowd was, you know, you can look it up. 2013, 14. I remember going back in 2014 to the room and saying, and I've been involved with some intense shit in my life, including fighting AML leukemia. I've been in some fucking rallies that'll blow your fucking mind. I mean, literally, I still don't believe some of the shit I've seen. I'm like, that was the most intense shit I ever seen. I've always thought to myself, the DC fucking Sands, he was the guy. It was staggering to me how well organized their resistance was to us. Like, again, herding fucking wildcats. Literally, and they pulled it off. It was incredible. There was no blood spilled, you know, which I still don't know how that hasn't happened. Like I said, we were fighting for the right things. So, I will testify, and nobody knows as much as I, and I'm the guy that organized it, and it was every bit as intense. Of course, don't compare their crowd to our crowd. Our crowd doesn't fall for fucking lies. In fact, we cut through the fucking lies and the bullshit. And by the way, if you don't think so, some of the members of that fucking grassroots organization have become some of the greatest activists in the world that you'll never hear of. Up in Maine, in Philadelphia, in Baltimore, in Ferguson, in Utah. Champions of the homeless, people that make change, people that are in the street have emerged out of that, but you'll never hear about those because the media doesn't like people like that. The media likes their fake bullshit. You know, and they got a lot of blood on their hands. Because how do all these people get tricked? Because the media never tells the truth. So when Trump starts pushing the lie, well, the media is going to lie to you. Well, everybody knows that because the media does lie. So there's the problem. So I'll testify. Had nothing to do with fucking National Guard not showing up. Zero. There was no National Guard on us. And they had it handled to a fucking... It still blows my mind how they pulled it off. And they did. So, stay tuned.